Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the MIRA Race Network. It has been a challenging winter, to say the least, with a lot of the weather challenges for the teams and stars of the Midwest International Racing Association, but thankfully, that has certainly looked aside for us this weekend. We are just south of Sault Ste. Marie in Kinross, Michigan, at the Chippewa County Fairgrounds today, and this is the Kinross 250 race weekend. My name is Nate Dreyer. We'll have a whole host of characters joining me throughout this weekend as well, and we are right away getting underway. The Pro Enduro sleds on track for the first time. It's the Novak Racing team of Billy Ski, Tanner Heat-Dirks, and their Polaris that are first to take to the circuit this morning as we're getting some qualifying hot laps in, and then we have got a packed weekend on deck that includes over 300 total entries across all series. If it isn't quite a MIRA record, it certainly is the most that we've seen in a very long time. A very, very bustling weekend on the way, and we cannot wait to get to it. And we start with these first hot laps and qualifying sessions, starting with the 24 sled here this morning. Tanner Heat-Dirks out of Wayland, Michigan. This is a Polaris Axis R that the 24 team rides, and you get the first look at it right here, working the bars and working the first session. Terrific track conditions, in part because it is unbelievably cold up here. It was around 4 degrees when I woke up and left this morning from my hotel. I think it's somewhere 8 to 10 right now at the start of the day's activities, and we're going to be down that low throughout a lot of the day. It was very cold overnight. We were able to freeze this track perfectly, and the conditions are going to be terrific this weekend. Another look at one of the backup number 24 sleds as well, getting a couple laps in here this morning as we are getting to see both Billy Ski along with Tanner Heat-Dirks getting runs in the initial hot lap runs. Blue number 34 for Danny Makey out of Engadine, a Polaris 600 that he rides as a part of our Pro Enduro 250 category. All looking forward to 250 laps tomorrow here at the Chippewa County Fairgrounds in Kinross, and so much action before we get to that as well. 28 sled will see the track for the first time. Cam Vermash along with Eric Churchill ride that machine for Countryside Motorsports team out of Carroll, Michigan. That is a Polaris R as well, a Polaris-filled field throughout the Pro Enduro circuit this season for the MIRA season. A few teams, 4 teams, riding Arctic Cat Ski-Doo as well, working its way in there for the Town Brothers that we will see as a part of the weekend. There's another look at the 28 one more time. Again, Vermash and Churchill will work the bars on that one this weekend. It looks like it is Cam Vermash that is getting the first qualifying run of the weekend and hot lap run-in of this weekend. And what a sight for sore eyes a track in this kind of condition is after some of the challenges that we were able to thankfully work through at Traverse City last time. And as you see the 28 go around, Vermash getting a little bit clipped on the inside, and he'll be able to work that one away, and they'll filter on through behind. Hot laps continuing right here for Pro Enduro to start our weekend. The 43, the Harris Racing, Dakota, Scott Harris team up on that sled. They're out of Morley, Michigan. That's another Polaris, the 43 machine for the Kinross 250. Checkered flag out for the run for the 28, the Countryside Motorsports team. And the 13, the Pichet Racing sled. Colin Henderson, Drake McCullough on that Polaris based out of Sault Ste. Marie. And that was a team last time as well, had a really solid run up through the field at Traverse City. Wound up currently sitting 4th in MIRA points. The Pro Enduro Championship lead goes to the 57 team of Zach DeWald, James Hicks. They were winners in Traverse City. Joe Birch and Nick Wickerham follow them just behind. Jake Giroux, Andy Shoemaker, 3rd in points, and then Colin Henderson and McCullough, the 13 Pichet Racing team in 4th. And that 28 sled of Vermash and Churchill that we just saw 5th in MIRA points coming into what is going to be the final weekend. Just a 2-race for the Sprint Series, 3-race for the Pro Enduro sleds when you count in also the races at Eagle River season with some of the weather challenges. We've already canceled things moving ahead next week at Lincoln, so great conditions, a huge field, like I said, over 300 entries this weekend as the RNS Racing 17. Articat is on track. Gardner Cusack, a night ski pair, the duo for that team. Cusack and Knightsky coming in 10th in points right now on the year. And there are our points leaders. It is the 57. And it looks like that is Zach DeWald on the Mickey's Factory Sled Polaris that is getting the first run at. Of course, very easy to pick that sled up with some of the neon lighting that team puts around that 57. There's a look as it gets wheeled by DeWald, as he'll turn those bars and work his way around. Paddock area, the pit area, moving back to the infield, to the inside, minding the bumps. We get some of our first side-by-side racing. DeWald looks to the inside of Cusack and will move by as he's feeling things out right now in our first hot lap session of the weekend for Pro Enduro. As we're jumping right in with the pros and right in with the big sleds here this weekend at Kinross before we get a packed day underway. I mean, in particular, the open class has 5 heats for the open class that we're going to have a little bit later on today as well, and just a packed entry list in general. Like I said, over 300 entries in total with us this weekend here, just south of Sault Ste. Marie, about 20 minutes south of Sault Ste. Marie at the Chippewa County Fairgrounds in Kinross, Michigan. There's a look at the 72 sled. Looks like it is Jake Giroux for Team Applebee's right now, getting ready to jump on the 72. The secondary sled for the 57 team also out there. There's a few teams that are breaking in some new sleds, and they have a couple enter that will get out on track as part of the runs right here. So there goes the 72 as we watch the third place team, Giroux and Shoemaker, in the MIRA season points heading in to this closing stretch. Giroux had the lead late at Traverse City, got hunted down by the 57 duo down the stretch, and it was DeWald that had the closing run for the Mickey's Factory Sleds team ultimately. And here is Zach DeWald once again jumping back out there on the 57. Right now, fastest time set by the 24 team. Ski and Heat Dirks on that Polaris, the quickest, a 25. The only team right now south of 26 seconds, a 25.847. And then right on the mark, the secondary entry was Zach DeWald, goes to a 25.766. So the fastest time we've seen so far being run right now by Zach DeWald as he'll wrap things up. The 20 sled out on the track. John Giffel, Adam Weiler for R&R Racing, another Polaris. We also get a look at Ross Erdman, and that Polaris R, the 29 machine, was not with us at Traverse City last time, but getting back out on the track. 20 takes the checkered flag for the R&R team. Ryan McKay, that team, they hail out of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and he's working the bars on the Polaris IQR for the 54 team here to start. Another team was not with us at the Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel 250 at Traverse City, but able to wrap up the season here this weekend in Kinross. Again, you're tuned in to the MIRA Race Network, presented by Ginop Sales and Service. Nate Dreyer with you this morning. And it looks like J.D. Hawk, our executive producer and man of many, many talents, has also got his mic queued up and he wants to talk for the first time. Good morning, JD.
Good morning, Nate. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing terrific. I'm cold, but I guess that's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, funny thing, you should say that. Wednesday, when we arrived here for our initial setup, it was 47 degrees.
Wow.
We were outside working in T-shirts. And this morning, I think it's like 1.
Yeah.
The Three Dog Night had a song called "One Is the Loneliest Number," and it's the truth. So, definitely freezing a little bit this morning, but I think we're going to have some fantastic racing action because of it. That track has held up and done wonders, and they were pouring water to her as late as like 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
And so it promises to be really, really good out there. And there was something else I was going to say, but I am getting older, and those in the audience who can relate to that understand. So when I think about it, I'll get back to you. But other than that, have at it.
All right, across the start-finish line there, the 84 for Stevenson Racing. Polaris, as they're able to get across our advanced insulation start-finish line and take our O'Reilly Auto Parts checkered flag. All flags are presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts this weekend on the MIRA Race Network. And again, we have to thank Ginop Sales for helping present the way for us here as we're launching the first season of this MIRA Race Network. And boy, it's been a lot of fun to get things off the ground, and I think the coverage is getting started in terms of some of what is coming up ahead. Schwartz Racing Team out of Sault Ste. Marie, K&S Company Exteriors, Van Mark Builders LLC, Woody's Traxxon, JB Designs Vintage Decals, and S&T Electric, the sponsors on the 75 that you see. That's another Polaris Axis on track. Pro Enduro 250, hot lap sessions opening the weekend for the Kinross 250. And the 19 sled also on track. That's the Birch & Wickerham Tommy Bauer Racing sled, which made a lot of runs up and down the field at Traverse City. They fell deep in the field at one point in time, were able to run back to the front, and ultimately came up with a pretty solid finish for the 19 team in general. And Birch & Wickerham right now do sit second in MIRA points on the season. They've been pretty consistent throughout both races, and they do sit second behind DeWald and Hicks in the MIRA points heading to the final race of this season. Michael Lineberger, Bay City, Michigan. Polaris IQR, the 48 sled. A little bit of action right here as we'll dice it up during the Hot Lap Pro Enduro qualifying session. As of right now, best lap time in terms of qualifying for this weekend's race. Remember, a couple of the secondary sleds out there as well. But right now, top qualifying time remaining at 25.782 for the 24 of Ski and Heat Dirks. Following that up closely, the 57 of DeWald and Hicks, with DeWald doing the qualifying runs there at 25. It's actually 17. I checked that just ahead of the 57 at 20. No, yes, it is. I beg your pardon. It is the second place team right now going to the 25.8 for the 57 of Zach DeWald. The way the timing comes in our morning Pro Enduro qualifying sessions is it simply comes in on our timing sheet as the laps are run. Doesn't cycle out in the order. So we're watching these laps continue to come in right now. The 77 on track for its first run of the weekend. The Brownlee Boys team out of Fenton on a 2015 Polaris IQR. Chad Seiler and Ryan Wolf team up, and it looks like it is right now Chad Seiler that is on the 77 for this hot lap run. Let's see how things set up on their first workout on the track as Seiler works the bars through 3 and 4, disappearing behind those towering rigs in the infield pit and paddock section here at Kinross, Michigan. One more coming up across the stripe. 77 gets its first lap in. Look at the Town Brothers. The lone skidoo in the field this weekend. Stephen and Matt Town out of Traverse City. What incredible work that family did to help build and put together the track as the checkered flag falls for them at Traverse City through all the challenges there, and looking to finish it up with a strong finish to their season as well on the track. They come in 17th in points. Right now they had a challenging day with early problems at Eagle River before a solid finish last week at their home track in Traverse City. So looking for a late charge up the points at what's going to be the closing race of the season. The world-class racing machine, Scott Steve Allman, out of Waterford. You see first in line getting ready to take to the track on the number 41 Polaris. And the Bouveret Racing Polaris, Bouveret and Pretzel will follow them onto the track. .41 at the controls, Scott Ullman right now. They come in 7th in season points heading into this weekend at Kinross. So 7th in points right now for the Almonds as we look at the green. Look here at Haven Bouveret and the Bouveret Racing Polaris as well, taking to the circuit for the first time this weekend. They right now, the team of Bouveret and Pretzel, sitting 13th in points coming in to the weekend, turning their first laps of the weekend. On the first lap turned at a 28.995, so a couple seconds still off the pace being set at the top of things. The 7 sled, Luke Krentz and Dustin Schwantz for KMW Racing. One of the first times we've seen an Arctic Cat take to the track in that black and neon green liveried 7, working the bars. Right now at the controls is Luke Krentz for the first qualifying run and first hot lap run of this weekend. Look back here at Haven Bouveret. Riding, hanging off the left side of that thing, works the bars, and we'll get ready to wrap up the qualifying run. 27.811, the fastest lap time right there. Right now, fastest time overall. Everyone continuing to chase the mark of a 25.766 that was set by the extra entry, the 57X entry for Zach DeWald. The 24 right now, 25.782 is the next quickest. And a lot of sleds right in within a second of that time between 25 and the high 26-second threshold. Some of the lap times start to slow down as we get later on into the qualifying runs. However, the 21 Cataract Collision team, who certainly had a strong run up and back and through the field, some late difficulties in the end for the pairing of Ryan Spencer, Troy DeWald, always as fast as they come in MIRA competition. And the 91 with Tom Wisner set to stage right behind on that Polaris. Cataract Collision 21 will peel it off right here, and Troy DeWald will, in a moment, look like he will get set to go. You see the Cataract Collision team, a couple of sleds, one of the teams that have brought a couple of different offerings, doing some testing here with a secondary sled, breaking in some new engines, some new technology that they're getting set. I believe this is Troy on what will be the 21X and the alternate, the T car, we call it in IndyCar racing for Troy DeWald, who will roll out right here. He had some good battles with his son Zach throughout the weekend at Traverse City in a couple of different classes last time. He'll work the bars. He'll start his first on-track session of the weekend. Great look at Troy DeWald. He'll take the O'Reilly Auto Parts green flag across that advanced installation start finish line as he says hello to our chief starter here with MIRA, Mark Jade, who will be seeing a lot more throughout the day, getting all of these sessions underway and opening things up, as I mentioned, with Pro Enduro qualifying and hot laps right here as the pros get to take to the circuit, get the first recon laps done at this Chippewa County Fairgrounds piece of property. Tom Wisner out of Blanchard on his Polaris IQR doing the first run here of the day for the 91 team. Team has not run yet in MIRA competition in 2024. By the way, that 21 team, it's been a trying year for always one of the absolute fastest teams in the series of DeWald and Spencer. Right now 15th in points coming into this concluding race at Kinross to close the 2024 campaign. So certainly they're looking for a great result. You see the other 21 sled, the main 21 sled, also out onto the circuit right now. Checkered flag goes, and that was Ryan Spencer that got the run on the second 21 lapping sled that we see on the track. So we got to see both DeWald and Spencer get some hot laps in on their Articats. And with that, we conclude our hot lap session for Pro Enduro to open the day here at Kinross. We have got a packed day as a red flag will fall across the track, and there's a look at the Pro Enduro pit area as all the teams are wrapping up their session. And we'll start getting to work before they get into the rest of their weekend, some of the test and tuning coming up, and everything that will follow.